You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krug and Zach Farrell. Brought to you by these fine sponsors: Ace Cuts, Albert Sporting Goods, Hog Blaze Equipment Rental, Buffalo Wild Wing, Capability, Salina Cycle Center, Eagle Loan Company of Salina, Eagle 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Guarneri's Pub and Pizzeria, JT's Brew and Grill, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Plus One Professionals Real Estate, Writer Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Speeds Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Hello and welcome to Rules of the Game with Bill Krug. I'm your host, Zach Farrell. Joining me each and every week is local official Bill Krug. Bill, thanks for coming again.
Thanks, Zach. Glad to be here.
We like to look at little clips from the previous week's game, and there were quite a few clips that we were able to look at this week.
Great. Let's go over them.
Let's jump right in here. This first clip was a false start for St. Mary's. I thought we'd keep it nice and easy here.
Okay.
So watching here, looked like maybe the left guard jumped just slightly there, right?
Yeah.
Just early.
Looks like he took off a hair early.
Sometimes the St. Mary's can get away with those if the whole surge goes, but not that night.
Yeah, not there.
So good call, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. This next play, I believe, was a 15-yard face mask. And it's hard to see from this angle, but it was even harder from the other angle. So on the end there, I don't know if you remember that from the broadcast, but and maybe we could talk a little bit about the difference between the 15-yarders and the 5-yard face mask.
Yeah, the 15-yarder, the personal foul face mask, is if you get a hold of it and you make their head turn, that's enough to be regarded as a 15-yard penalty. But if you grab a hold of it and then let go immediately, it's still a face mask, but it's only going to cost you 5 yards. And neither one of them is an automatic first down. You're just going to get the yardage and the play over. So
I think that was on Dylan Fink as he was trying to get through the hole there, although it might have been Caleb Schmidt. It's a little hard to see with it being so small on the screen. Later on in that drive, though, we had a close call here on the goal line, and this is going to be a recurring theme for these clips is the ball spot. So this was Caleb Schmidt coming through there and coming very close, falling into the end zone. But officials said that he was just short of the goal line.
Well, you can't see because number 1 is being blocked by 52 right into the right in front of him. It depends on where the ball is when his knee hits the ground.
Gotcha.
When he's considered down, so maybe his knee was down about the 3-yard line, and when he fell forward. You can't tell from that view. And all the ball just has to be breaking the plane at that time, right? Just the nose of the football has to break the front edge of the white line. It doesn't have to be beyond it, just breaks the front edge of that 2-inch wide white line.
Well, we've got a next easy clip again right here. So just an offsides call on St. Mary's. Don't know if you remember seeing this on the broadcast at all, but it was very close to not really being into the neutral zone. He jumped for sure, but he almost jumps and falls straight down.
Yeah. The guy with the best look is the guy who threw the flag up there.
Right.
Very
close. This next play was a pass interference call against St. Mary's early in the second quarter, I think.
Yeah. It looked like I think the other – He has a hold of him right there, and he's holding him back.
So it's that left arm on his back there.
Yep. It looked like he held him back just a little bit. So, once the ball's in the air, that's pass interference. Now, if he grabs him before the ball's in the air, that's just a defensive holding, which is 10 yards from the previous spot. But yeah, pass interference is when the ball's in the air, you can't.
Gotcha. I thought that, overall the call, there weren't too many controversial calls. It seemed like the calls were good, but just some controversial ball spotting maybe for this crew.
Yep.
This next play, though, just thought this was interesting. Look at the alignment of the Van Wert offensive line here.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about you, and I don't know how much grace period that you give, but it seems to me like their left side of their line is, almost a full 2 yards behind the ball.
Well, what it is your head has to break the waist of the center.
Gotcha.
And so if his head breaks the waist, usually you can tell by the guard, his head will be there, and then if the tackle, who's usually just a hair back, but the tackles are usually a little bit bigger, and if his head breaks that waist of that center, he's good.
So you want some centers with some long bodies if you want to try to get, because that's really helpful as a pass blocking, I would think, to be able to have extra space there.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
It's kind of like your pockets
and that would
already
mean that he's in the backfield. And remember the rule that you don't have to have 7 on the line of scrimmage. You just can't have 5 in the backfield.
Gotcha.
And that's what those tackles are considered. They're in the backfield if they're not up, if their head doesn't break the waist of the center.
Gotcha. Well, we've got 6 more clips to go after this. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got some illegal men downfield, and we've got some interesting ball spots towards the end of the game.
Great.
We'll be back with the clips right after this.
You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krug and Zach Farrell. Brought to you by these fine sponsors: Ace Cuts, Albert Sporting Goods, Hog Blaze Equipment Rental, Buffalo Wild Wing, Capability, Salina Cycle Center, Eagle Loan Company of Salina, Eagle 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Guarneri's Pub and Pizzeria, JT's Brew and Grill, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Plus One Professionals Real Estate, Writer Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Welcome back to Rules of the Game with Bill Krug. Thank you to all of our sponsors for sponsoring our programs, as well as all of Rider Nation Station's programs throughout the year. We couldn't do it without them. Bill, let's jump right back into the clips. So second quarter, this was a huge play for St. Mary's. Taylor Compton able to jump the screen pass and run it back for a little bit of a return there on an interception. But what I thought was interesting, and I think that we're going to see it again later in the game, was look at how far down the field that the linemen were when that was thrown, and then I'll let you look at it, but I don't believe that the running back was behind the line of scrimmage. I think he was past the line of scrimmage there.
Well, what matters is, did the ball cross the line of scrimmage?
Okay.
Okay, and the linemen are allowed in the expanded neutral zone, which is 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Okay. The expanded neutral zone. So they're allowed to be within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, but the ball has to be passed beyond the line of scrimmage for them to be illegally downfield.
Gotcha.
They have to be farther than 2 yards, and the ball has to cross the line of scrimmage. So
it looks like the ball is set on the 11-yard line.
And the center is the one that looks like he's downfield pretty far.
7 or 8, yeah, down other side of the 10.
Yeah, and the ball got beyond the line of scrimmage. It got to the 10. I think he intercepted it right there at the 10, didn't he?
Yeah.
So we'd decline that penalty.
Right. But it probably should have been called then.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. The ball doesn't have to be caught.
Right.
If the ball's thrown beyond the line of scrimmage and they're down there over 2 yards, then it's a foul. And
well, hopefully we'll see, and I think we'll see that again later in the game. But it could have been huge, but fortunately for Compton, he was able to pick it off anyway. This was a close call for a near TD, and the ball spot there. You can see the Shawnee wide receiver come in from the right side of the screen and make that catch right near the goal line. His feet are definitely in the end zone, but the ball I think stays out. I think it was a pretty good call there.
Yeah, that looks like a good call. I mean, his feet are in, but his upper body's not. And the ball. I think that's a good call if they called that short.
They did. They called it about a half yard short of the goal line.
Yeah.
And that's just a unique looking play, I thought.
Yeah.
You don't see the wide receivers with half their body in and the ball sticking
you're right. You
out.
don't see it very often. It's usually the other way.
Usually the ball leads. This play then was a tackle for the St. Mary's player on the top of the screen. And it's real hard to see, but the ball starts to roll out there at the end of it. But the official comes running in and marks him down immediately. So I guess you could talk maybe about the mechanics of is the official looking at his knee and his leg hitting and then looking for the ball movement? How do you decide that or determine that?
Well, you have to see when the ball when the player's down. So he's looking for that knee spot, but you have to have good enough vision to see, is the ball loose before, you have to know where the ball is, where his knee is, if he's got control of it. So it's hopefully, at least two guys will see that and help each other out. But it's not easy. He's got people in front of him. He's got coaches on the sideline there, and he still made the call right away. So he had it that he was down, and we're pretty far away from where that happened right there. So I think, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt that, I think the thing is on that play right there, was he bobbling it before he went down? Because it looked like once he was down, the ball comes trickling out there. So.
Right. Or did the ground cause a fumble?
Or did the ground cause it, right.
Yeah. This next play then was a holding call against Van Wert in the backfield. I think there's a couple of flags that come in, and I'm not sure if it was on, they said that Owen Ott was being held, or if 63 Jackson Rammel was being held. So 44 is right there at the bottom of the screen, and Jackson Rammel's right there at the middle of the screen.
Yeah, check that one out right there.
Yeah. And he sort of gets twisted around right there.
That's probably where the hold was. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But show that again from the start, because I think where you were talking about the line. Look at the line. Look at let's see, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's a tight end. That's not their tackle. I thought when it first went off that tackle was that far back. That's a tight end that's back. So
he's allowed to be in the backfield then with that. Yep. Yeah, it looks like they maybe chicken winged him a little bit there.
Yeah, I think they got Jackson Rammel there.
And then so we talked about that screen pass earlier in the game and the men downfield. This was then later in the game on one of their drives.
Okay. Yeah. Now look where the ball is snapped from. Look where the point of the ball is from where it was snapped, because the point of the ball
looks like the 45-yard line, right?
Correct. Right on the 45. Now watch the linemen. How far down the field are the linemen? Look at them taking off. Are they more than 2 yards? They obviously are. They're 3 to 4 yards down the field, at least 2 of them. And look where he's catching the ball. Is it beyond the 45-yard line?
It is.
It is. So we should have had ineligibles downfield on that pass, on that play right there.
And it is ineligible downfield or a legal man downfield? I'm just curious.
Both.
Same thing.
Same
okay.
thing, yep.
It's an illegal. Is that considered just an illegal procedure, or is it?
No, it's called ineligibles downfield.
Okay.
It's 5 yards.
It's its own call then.
Yeah. It's
all right.
Call. Yeah.
Well, this next play was as the Riders were trying to shut the game away at the end of the game. I thought a really bad spot here for Caleb Schmidt on his run. This was 3rd down. They ended up getting stopped on 4th down, so this could have been huge if they were able to get a first down there. What are you seeing from him coming through there?
Okay, on that right there, it looked to me like he spotted where his knee was down, not where the ball was down when the knee hit. To me, right there.
His knee looks like he goes down about the 22-yard line, but the ball is all the way.
Yeah, look how far forward he is, and his knee's behind him, and he spotted it right at where his knee went down.
And again, this is 3rd down. They ended up getting stopped on 4th down. So
yeah, so the ball could be over the 22 right there, inside the 22, if you ask me. You're right, But there's his knee. And I think did you see where he? Now watch the official on the lower end here at the bottom of the screen. Watch when he'll come out and then he'll take a step to his left. See that?
Yeah.
And I think he was spotting the ball off the knee, not where the ball was. Watch him.
Just depends if Caleb Schmidt's knee was down right there or not, because it's hard to tell whether his knee's actually touching the ground or if he's just still in the air there as he's falling down. Very close call, though.
Very close call, an important call in the game.
Well, then let's talk a little bit about the next play. So we don't have the actual measurement itself, but this was a 4th down where Caleb Schmidt was stopped. The measurement ended up being, the official held up his fingers for, maybe 4 inches or something like that.
Look up at the very top of the screen right now. Look where the yard marker, where the line to gain is, right there.
Yeah.
Look where the line to gain is. That's the 22-yard line. Okay?
Right.
So the nose of the ball didn't reach the 22-yard line.
Right.
Okay. So we'll run the play, and then where did they snap it from?
So regardless, it's really hard to see in this pile here where exactly he got to. We don't have as big of an issue about where they necessarily spotted this 4th down.
No.
But our issue then is the next play, you're saying.
Yes.
So
and look at that. The ball is now on the other side of the 22.
Right.
If that's where the ball is spotted,
that should have been a first down.
That should have been a first down. See, in this case, they spun the ball around, so the point of the ball is the ball should have stayed where it was, short of the 22, and the chains moved. They left the chains where they were and put the ball on the other spot. You can't do that, so you take it down to the end zone, and you have fourth down, and the guy's an inch short of getting in the end zone. Okay, you turn the ball over, the other team comes out. Are they going to turn it around and let the ball be halfway in the end zone then? You can't do that. The ball has to stay where it is, and the chains move the length of the ball or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
Is what should have happened there.
So a little bit bad mechanics there with the chains and the ball spotting.
Correct.
Fortunately, it's at the 22-yard line, not the goal line, or like you said, something like that. But fortunately, St. Mary's able to get a big stop on that drive at the end of the game with no time left on the clock, and Riders get the win. So that's always good to watch clips from a Riders victory, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We're going to hopefully have more clips next week from the Riders victory this week at Grand Lake Health Systems Field against Shawnee. Rider Nation Station will have the broadcast. We hope everybody tunes in. If you're unable to come to the game is a Hall of Fame game. They're going to have the inductees, which is always a great time and a very good honor for those individuals. So we hope everybody shows up for the game, but if you can't, check us out by viewing the game on Rider Nation Station. For Bill Krug, I'm Zach Farrell. We'll see everybody next week.
You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krug and Zach Farrell. Brought to you by these fine sponsors: Ace Cuts, Albert Sporting Goods, All Glaze Equipment Rental, Buffalo Wild Wing, Capability, Salina Cycle Center, Eagle Loan Company of Salina, Eagle 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Guarneri's Pub and Pizzeria, JT's Brew and Grill, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Plus One Professionals Real Estate, Writer Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.